So today I'm going to share with you how I afford my reading addiction. I read over 150 books last year, and I do not have an endless budget for books. I actually prefer to spend $0 on my reading hobby. So I'm going to share with you all my tips and tricks for finding the latest and the greatest for free. There are way too many great books out there, and I only get one life to read them all, so I don't tend to reread a whole bunch of books. The exception to that would be nonfiction. If I really enjoy a nonfiction, I will buy it so I can highlight the crap out of it. So Mortimer J. Adler had a great quote: "In the case of good books, the point is not to see how many of them you can get through, but rather how many can get through to you." And that is so true. I read so many books, but not a whole lot of them stick with me for very long. It's on to the next. So one of the reasons I started this channel was in the hopes of retaining a little bit more by discussing what I've read. Instead of just moving on to the next, I have to actually recap it for you, and hopefully it'll stick a little longer in there. Another great quote was by Emma Thompson. She says, "I think books are like people, in the sense that they turn up in your life when you most need them." And I have definitely experienced that. There are some great books out there that I tried to read at one point in my life, and they just did not hit. And I was like, why do people think this is such a great book? And then that same book I've picked up at a different point in my life, and it was exactly what I needed to read. And I felt like it was just God telling me, hey, this is now for you. And that's why I read nonfiction interspersed amongst fiction. But more often than not, actually, I have learned great things from fiction rather than nonfiction. There are 5 ways that I'm going to share that you can get books completely for free. So the first one is the Libby app, which replaced the Overdrive app, and that links to your local library. So you do have to have a library card. If you go onto the Libby website, you can actually request books as well. You can reserve a book or ask to be notified when your local library gets it as well. Second one is Hoopla app, which my brother actually told me about. Has a lot of ebooks, has television series, has audiobooks. The third app is called Cloud Library. All 3 of these, Libby, Hoopla, and Cloud Library, all link to your local library. So again, you do have to have a library card. More often than not, if I can't find it on Libby or Hoopla, I find a book that I've been waiting for on Cloud Library. If you don't want to get a library card, however, I would suggest that you start driving around your town. It kind of feels like a treasure hunt to go to the free little libraries. It's a great way to keep your bookshelves from overflowing, and you get to share with others. My oldest is about to get her license, so we were out driving and she was chauffeuring me around to all the free little libraries. Not all free little libraries are registered online because the plaque is expensive. So there probably are a lot more in your town than are registered. So keep your eyes out for strange little boxes out near the road. I went out yesterday and found like 3 great books that I snagged. I have one bookshelf in my house, and it's not because I don't love books, it's because I'm trying not to just collect things. I don't do a whole lot of rereading. So one way I keep my bookshelf is when I'm done with it, when my girls are done with it, we know we're not going to read it again, we bless somebody else. I've gotten to read so many great books by somebody leaving it in a free little library. Another quote, this one about libraries. So Ann Herbert says, "Libraries will get you through times of no money better than money will get you through times of no libraries." So if you haven't visited your local library, I highly suggest it. Roaming up and down the stacks with my daughters is one of my favorite places. Audible runs regular deals for their subscription service, but so does Spotify. If you already are paying for a Spotify account, you might check there. They also carry a lot of audiobooks on Spotify now. Depending on how voraciously you devour books, a subscription to Audible might be right up your alley because I think it's like $14.95 a month or something like that, unless you get it on one of their cool deals. I think they had like 3 months for 99 cents, and then it goes up to $14.95, which is pretty decent considering the cost of books. If you're buying multiple books a month, you might as well get a Audible subscription. So to recap, 5 main ways that I can afford to read as voraciously as I do. I have Libby, which replaced the Overdrive app. I have Hoopla, and I have Cloud Library, and then I have my local library. So those 3 apps are all linked to my local library and have offered all the latest books. Sometimes I have to wait a little bit, but most often it's not long. And free little libraries, I keep a running list of them on my phone. I give my daughter the extra driving practice by chauffeuring me around to them all. And if you have a Spotify subscription already, you might be able to find some audiobooks on there as well. Spotify has music, podcasts, and audiobooks. And the newest app I've added to my tablet, you probably can't see it very well, but right here, Fable is a Goodreads alternative, and it also allows you to read ebooks and classics on their app as well. Fable will track whatever you're binging, whether it be books or TV series, and the rating system is more robust than Goodreads. If you know of any other apps I'm missing, feel free to leave comments below. Happy reading!